We're going to get to the latest Jim Harbaugh rumors and his return potentially to the NFL in just a moment. But first, if you are looking for a Broncos YouTube channel that's going to keep you up to date on the latest coaching search buzz, rumors, and news, and all that good stuff, you found the right channel. Subscribe today if you have not already. We've got a couple more blocks of cheese leading us down the trail that is Ann Arbor to Denver, Colorado, right? Because I believe Jim Harbaugh is getting closer and closer to just coming out and say, I am done at the collegiate ranks. I am returning back to the NFL. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am your host, Matthew Peterson, and I'm going to run through the latest on Harbaugh as we've got some new reports and some new quotes and information on his potential return to the National Football League. So, Jimmy Harbaugh himself telling Queens News, a Charlotte, North Carolina publication, saying this: although no one knows the future, I think I will be coaching Michigan next year. I think I will be coaching Michigan next year. Yeah, Harbaugh's coming back to the NFL, right? I mean, welcome to Denver, Jim. I think we should just start. All right, someone in the comment section, please volunteer to pick up Harbaugh from the airport. And I know it's a long drive, but just give him a lift back to downtown, and he can start looking for houses and whatnot, because that right there says everything I need to hear. Jim Harbaugh, with not a very strong vote of confidence that he will be back with the Michigan Wolverines next year. Ultimately, just the NFL as a whole is very tempting because the creme de la creme is winning the Lombardi Trophy. But to do that and be paid $20+ million, which there are reports that the Broncos and maybe even the Panthers, and we'll talk more about the Panthers later on, are willing to pony up and pretty much double and then some Jim Harbaugh's salary, right? Our BetUS promo deal is 125%. It's like 200% for Jim Harbaugh to come back to the National Football League. So that right there, that quote, it's a lot different than last year, right? Last year, after actually interviewing with the Vikings, he said, I'm staying in Michigan. This year, it's, I think I might stay in Michigan. I don't know. Does someone want to offer me $20+ million? Because if so, I'm in. Let's go back in time a little bit here. I want to share this tweet with you guys a couple of days ago from our good friend Dav. Sources say that the Panthers owner David Tepper has had a conversation with Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh regarding the Panthers head coaching vacancy. So it seems to me like it's a two-horse race, the Broncos and the Panthers. And if we take this and add on Bruce Feldman's tweet right now, which says, I think it is a done deal that if he gets an offer, Jim Harbaugh, it's a done deal that if he gets an offer, Jim Harbaugh's led Michigan to consecutive Big Ten titles, but also been a great as an NFL coach. If an NFL team wants him, he will leave Michigan. All right, that was some word vomit right there. But the point is, if Jim Harbaugh gets an offer, he will be leaving Michigan, at least according to Bruce Feldman at The Athletic, which I don't think his word is gold. He's been wrong on stuff before. Every reporter's been wrong on stuff before. So it's not just Feldman, but there is a little bit more than just some rumors out there, right? It feels like it's really picking up some traction here. This is a snowball that's turning into an avalanche. And I wonder where the Avs play. Oh, yeah, in Denver. Not far from the Broncos, and that's where Harbaugh will be. I really do believe it. I know I'm having some fun with this right now, but if you put a gun to my head and say, who's going to be the Denver Broncos head coach in 2023, I'm probably going to hope that it's a blank in there, and if not, I think it's Jim Harbaugh, okay? Now, we're going to examine the two teams that are competing for Harbaugh, which is the Broncos and the Panthers. What do you think is the better job right now? I'm very curious what you're going to say, because there are definitely pros and cons to both, right? I am not just going to be a homer and act like the Broncos' job is a gift from God right now to anyone who takes it. No, there are some serious questions. It's not like the Panthers is a beautiful golden road ahead of them either. So let me know in the comment section. If I had to be Mr. Denver and try and be half glass full on why I think the Broncos' job is better than the Panthers' job, I got 4 bullet points. 1, just a better organization. I think from top to bottom, the Denver Broncos are a better organization. And Greg Penner said we are looking for a CEO. So if you're going to hire a CEO like Harbaugh, he wants to go into a team that's not kind of a shitstorm. And the Panthers aren't that, but the Broncos are just one of the best run organizations in the NFL. It hasn't transpired to wins, which is very frustrating, but make no mistake, this is a world-class, grade A, USDA-approved beef organization. It's also a very proud fan base, right? Broncos country is way bigger and prouder and louder than keep pounding over in Carolina. So if you're Harbaugh, you want to go to a team that's just like dying to be saved, kind of what he did with Michigan. Now, he didn't have the connection to the Broncos, but we did see that kind of unfold previously in his career. I also believe for everyone that says he's not going to go to the Broncos, Russell Wilson's the quarterback, he's going to do awful and get fired, why would he want to go there? Here's why. When they sit down and they offer him a job, the first thing he's going to say is, I'll take it, but I do not want to lose my job because Russell Wilson sucks in year one. I'll expand on that in just a second. But the ownership in Denver, it is richer, which will lead to a little bit more money to spend in free agency, a little bit more attractiveness, right? When things can be nicer and more money can be spent when you are the head coach / CEO, even, as Greg Penner called. But let's go back to Russ, okay? I think the Broncos will assure Harbaugh, listen, no matter what, your job status will not be impacted by Russell Wilson. We're not going to let you go down sinking because of Russ. So I don't think that's going to be a hurdle for him to get over of, I'm afraid to take this Broncos job because Russell Wilson stinks and they're tied in with this huge contract, so I'm going to go down with him. No coach is going to take the job because of that. Whether it's Harbaugh, Peyton, Dan Quinn, or somewhere else, the Broncos will tell him, listen, if things don't go well in your first year with Russ, we're not going to hold it against you. We can make a change not too much later, and you will be freed from Russell Wilson. So do not let that be something in your con side of the flow chart of, well, I don't want to go to Denver because Russell Wilson's going to be there for a long time and he's going to get me fired. No. In fact, Russell Wilson, let's talk about his contract for a second here. Russell Wilson's dead cap hit, right? This is how much the team owes him if he were to get cut. He is here for 2023. They are not going to lose $107 million. So whoever is the coach next year, Russell Wilson will be the quarterback. That much I am confident to say. Now, 2024, it's $85 million. That still seems too high to move on from. But if Russ is bad next year and it's like, all right, he was bad with Hackett, he's bad with the new coach, Russ is just bad, period, well, that might change things. So with that, here's my sort of prediction, right? My projection, if you will. I think Russ will play in 2023, like I said. Harbaugh, at the end of 2023 season, going into the 2024 NFL draft, will be able to draft Russell Wilson's replacement. Now, it's funny because right now, producer Patrick Seatman is behind the ones and twos, and he went to college with a certain he went to high school with a certain collegiate quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, who, of course, Harbaugh coaches at Michigan. And I wonder when J.J. would enter the draft. It's not this year. It would be next year. Oh, so maybe Harbaugh goes to Denver, babysits Russ for 1 year, and then drafts his guy, J.J. McCarthy, to be his next quarterback. We connecting dots? You see what I'm saying here? And then J.J. or whoever sits behind Russell Wilson for a year, maybe even gets benched, or Russ gets benched halfway through for the rookie quarterback, and after 2 years with Russell Wilson, Harbaugh is potentially free from Russ if Russ is just bad after those 2 seasons, and he can roll with his quarterback that he picked because the Broncos have their first round draft pick in 2024. And just like that, it'll be so quick and behind you, you'll hardly even remember Russell Wilson was ever traded to Denver. That's the best I got. Now, I want to know this much, though. Can Russ turn it around without Nathaniel Hackett? There's been a lot of debates over the last 3 months. Is it Russ? Is it Hackett? Is it both? I was in the camp of 60-40, 60% blame going to Hackett, 40% going to Russ. Maybe I'm 65-35 now because the way Russ has played in just 1 game without Hackett down in Kansas City, he showed a lot more guts and just overall better offensive preparation from the coaching staff than what it was before with Hackett. I mean, look at Russell Wilson's stats the last 3 games. These aren't great stats, but they're better than what they were through the first 12 or 13 games, right? 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. His completion percentage is higher, better yardage. I mean, still, these aren't the numbers you traded for. I'm not here to sugarcoat it and say, guys, don't look now, but Russ is getting hot going into 2023. But he's definitely been better the last couple of weeks. So for that reason, I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic of, I think Russell will be better next year. I still think he'll never live up to the King's ransom that the Seahawks pulled off to move on from Russell Wilson from to the Denver Broncos. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning into today's show. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. We're going to give you guys the best and latest Jim Harbaugh to the Broncos rumors. So if that's what you're looking for, hit that big red button and subscribe.